In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Welcome, students, to today's lecture. We would be continuing what we have started last week, and that was chapter 4, all about learning to speak and how children acquire language. So basically, we have a summary, and I have sent it beforehand. As usual, we have our typical passage questions, and then we have the synonyms. And the final two topics are usually the reading skills and the vocabulary, which we are introduced to in every chapter. Okay, so the chapter about learning to speak, we said that it was all about how children acquire language and how children develop the mental skills to use language. And the fascinating thing about it is that scientists actually learn from first language acquisition, and it's a process that even helps second language or foreign language acquisition. So I think the passage is clear. So we're going to just move on straight over to the questions. And we start off with question number 1. When do babies begin to develop language skills? Let's move over to the passage and read the question again. When do babies begin to develop language skills? Maytham.
Yes, miss. Babies can develop the language skills before they begin speak.
Okay, so babies can develop language skills before they begin speaking. Excellent. And that's, I think...
when they hear the sounds, actually. So they require the language when they hear their families speaking the native language.
صحيح بالضبط. Excellent. So this is what is known as interaction. Okay? So once interaction and they have input, this is where they begin to use a language or they begin to develop a language, because we know that in the early stages, children imitate. Okay? الأطفال يبدأون يقلدون. They can't produce their own words, nor can they produce their own sounds. What they do is they imitate. And yes, they do develop their language skills way before they start speaking, because language is not just basically all about speaking. We can sometimes refer to language in terms of sounds, because babies use sounds as their language right from the beginning. So thank you very much, Maytham. That was excellent. Perfect answer. Your answer, you can find the answer also, I think, on line 3 of the paragraph, right about here somewhere. Okay, so question number 2. Question number 2 states, why are babies called citizens of the world by Kuhl? Okay, this is, Kuhl, I think, is one of the scientists or one of the researchers who has studied baby language, okay? And he has practically said, or he has called babies as citizens of the world. Dan, Zahra?
Yes, Professor. It's because about when babies are 6 months, they can recognize the sounds that make up all languages. So therefore they are called the citizen of the world.
Excellent. This is because of their abilities. Their abilities at a younger age or at 6 months of age to basically acquire any language at that age. That's why if a child, just a moment, sorry. So yes, so at an early age, the cool thing about children is that right at the beginning, they have that capability, or they have the ability to acquire any language at a certain age. So basically, he calls them, or Kuhl calls them, citizens of the world. ترجع الشغلة إلى القابلية اللي تكون عند الأطفال في عمر مبكر. ليش أكو مثال يقول التعلم في الصغر كالنقش على الحجر because children at a younger age are receptively able to accept any language, and for that we may also call them citizens of the world. Thank you very much, Zahra. That was excellent. We move on to question number 3. At around 6 months, what does a baby's brain focus on? Okay. طبعا هو language acquisition goes through stages. The first few months اللي هو cooing and babbling. بعدين عندنا first one word stage, 2 word stage. I think you will learn this later on when you study first language acquisition in your linguistics course. But basically أكو مراحل يعني which normally all babies adapt to, and we are looking at one particular stage, and that's 6 months of age. So at 6 months of age, سبق صباح.
Yes, miss.
Yes, at 6 months, what does a baby's brain focus on?
Yes.
Seba, I can't hear your voice, my dear. Yes, Seba? Okay, Sabah Ali.
Yes, miss. So at around 6 months, the baby's brain focuses on the most common sounds it hears. Then the children begin responding only to the sounds of the language they hear the most.
Excellent. So at practically 6 months, children begin to imitate. They imitate the language around them, the language spoken around them. That's why من أهم النظريات طبعا اللي فسرت ال first language acquisition هو ال behaviorism theory, which states that children are able to acquire language from the behavior or the language that is spoken or the environment around them. So thank you very much, Sabah. That was an excellent answer. Our final question for the chapter: why are scientists interested in the brains of people who speak more than one language? وطبعا before we answer that question, what do we call people who speak one language? Okay, what do we call people?
Monolingual.
Okay, Muhammad, excellent. Monolinguals, a monolingual. Okay, a monolingual is a person who speaks one language. يعني من أقول one language يعني one language fluently. Okay? Okay, what do we call people who speak 2 languages?
Bilingual.
Excellent. Bilinguals. The bilingual is a person who speaks 2 languages fluently. يعني من أقول fluently يعني مو أقول أنت والله تعرف لك كم كلمة من اللغة الإنكليزية وحاسب روحك bilingual. No. A bilingual is a person who fluently speaks 2 languages. So what do we call a person who speaks more than 2 languages?
Multilingual. Multilingual.
Multilingual. Excellent, Muhammad. Yes, so we have monolinguals, bilinguals, and multilingual speakers. Okay? Is anyone between us a multilingual speaker? No? ما عندنا multilingual speakers? Okay, then do we have any bilingual speakers?
I
You
think
ask,
one are.
yeah, required as a bilingual.
Sorry, Sabah, could you repeat?
Miss, I said, as like we study now second language, are we now bilingual or it's not yet?
I don't think so, not yet. You would be considered as foreign language speakers because you're learning English as a foreign language. Mustafa, did you have something to say?
Well, I thought that we're considered bilingual as well, since we're obviously studying English, so I guess not.
You are considered as second language learners, but I think once you are at a stage where you perfect the language fluently, then obviously you would be considered a bilingual. Mustafa, you're on the way. You're on the way, inshallah.
Thank you, Professor Halfan.
Okay. So inshallah, you will all be bilinguals by someday. Inshallah, by the time you graduate, you are all bilinguals. And bilingualism is something that has been studied a lot, whether in psycholinguistics or applied linguistics, because the way the brain works is really fascinating, and it helps in, it actually helps in real life learning abilities in classes which teach second languages. So bilingualism is something really fascinating to study. Anyways, so the question states that why are scientists interested in the brains of people who speak more than one language? Mustafa Abdul Amir?
Yes, Professor. They are interested in the brains of people who speak more than one language because this skill is hard to acquire after about age 7.
Excellent. So could you please elaborate a little?
From age 0 to 7, the brain develops on its own and it creates pathways for each language that we hear and learn. But after age 7, it becomes harder and we have to make these pathways on ourselves. So the brain relies on, so it gets more difficult after this certain age.
So yes, exactly. Thank you very much, Mustafa. So studying how people can speak 2 languages may help in, as I said, in teaching as basic structures, because when a person knows 2 languages, he also has certain neurological aspects which help him acquire or speak 2 languages or understand 2 languages at the same time. And this is helpful in teaching. Yani it could be a method, or it could be a helpful method for teaching students a second language or a foreign language. Thank you very much, Mustafa. That was perfect. And thank you to all those who have participated with us in answering the main questions of the passage. Now we move on to the synonyms, and we would like someone to read them for us and also at the same time translate them. And we are going to ask Mustafa Mahdi.
Yes, miss. Fake, زائف, not real. A new frontier, unexplored area, منطقة غير مأهولة.
An unexplored area, yes. So when I
مكتشف
say a new
للتو.
frontier, it means something that has not been explored before. Excellent, Mustafa. Yes.
Disposed of, getting rid of, التخلص من, يعني رمي شيء أو throw it away. Memorized, mesmerized, hypnotized or fascinated, مفتون به أو يعني.
Excellent. Yes. So mesmerized means hypnotized or fascinated by something. Excellent, Mustafa. Perfect. The synonyms are basic. Just learn them with their equivalents. Nothing cryptic. So thank you very much, Mustafa. We are going to move on to the main topic of today's lecture, and that's basically looking at 2 very important factors in any language acquisition, and that's learning connecting words. And I think we have gone through this previously in your first stage. And also distinguishing facts from opinions, and this is something we also went through in your first stage during our course in composition. So let's start off with connecting words. You can turn to page 37 in your books, and let us start by reading about connecting words and then taking the different examples of connecting words. طبعا إلهن تسمية أخرى غير ال connecting words.
Conjunction.
Excellent, Muhammad Ra'id. In grammar, we call them conjunctions. Okay? So this is a different term that may refer to connecting words. Muhammad Ra'id, would you like to read for us? Understanding connecting words.
Okay, Miss. Now, understanding connecting words. Writers use special words and phrases to connect ideas in the text for the reader. These words are like single spots. They signal the type of information.
Sign spots.
Sign spots, yes.
يعني شنو هو الساين سبوت؟ يعني شلون ذني العلامات اللي نشوفين بالطريق يقول لك هنا توقف، هنا شوية slow down. هن ذني ال connecting words are like signposts. Yes.
They signal the type of information that is coming next. In this way, connecting words help the reader to follow the writer's ideas.
Excellent, excellent, Muhammad Ra'id. Thank you very much. So if we were to go back to the questions, what do connecting words signal? مثل ما قال محمد رائد, they signal what is to come, or what are the following words to come. And what do connecting words help the reader to do? And as Muhammad Ra'id has read, they help the reader follow the writer's ideas. Okay, so basically the writer is trying to convey something through his writing, and he uses the connecting words, in order to help the reader understand his ideas. Perfect. Zim. Muhammad Ra'id, we basically have, or here, the book lists 3 of the main types of connecting words. In our first column, عندنا, for example, for instance, like, such as, for one thing, okay? أحيانا تعتبر ذني also as linking words or connecting words. What is the purpose of the first type, Muhammad? For example, for instance, like, such as, for one thing.
Signals that an example is coming next. مثال يعني.
Excellent. So it means يعني وين ما تلقون ذني العبارات، وين ما تقروهن، أكيد اللي بعدهن راح يكون it signals، راح يكون أكو مثال راح يتبعهن. Okay, so it signals that an example is coming next. And we have examples of this. Could you read the first example for us, Muhammad?
Adults can hear only the sounds used in the language they speak fluently. To a native Japanese speaker, for instance, the letter R and L sound identical.
Excellent. فلاحظتوا for instance وأنت مثال على هاي الحالة. Okay, so for instance was followed by an example. Thank you very much, Muhammad. Ayat Naeem, would you like to read the second type of connecting words for us? Maryam Fadel.
Yes, miss. This questioning facts from opinions. It's important to
No, not about facts and opinions. وعدنا بالconnecting words. طبعا محمد رائد قرأ لنا أول نوع اللي هن قلنا for example, for instance, like. المجموعة الثانية اللي هي however, yet و but. However,
yet, but.
Their purpose, and you can read the example for us. Go ahead, Mariam.
However, yet, but signals that the next sentences contrast with what came before. Example, they cannot talk, walk, or even point at what they are thinking about. Yet, babies begin to develop language skills long before they begin speaking.
لاحظوا yet it means that something something contradictory is to come. يعني, as Maryam has read, they signal there is a contrast between 2 ideas. The first idea is different from the second idea. So هو أنطى معلومة بعدين قال yet babies, and he continued the sentence. So basically yet تفصل لنا بين 2 contrastive ideas. Okay, دائما خلوها ببالكم. But, yet, and however, they stand in the middle of 2 contrasting ideas. The final type, we'll listen to Ishraq Ali, and that is so. What is so used for, Ishraq?
Yes. So, signal the result of something mentioned before. For example, by age 7, a child has disposed of all the unnecessary connection that it was born with. So if you don't start studying Spanish until middle school, it will be hard to learn it.
Okay, so excellent, inshallah. So signals something, the result of something mentioned. يعني دائما اللي يجي بعد so هو النتيجة، اللي يجي قبلها هو السبب. Okay, فسو تفصل لنا بين السبب الكوز والresult. السبب والنتيجة. So as the example shows, I think they are very basic, طلاب, and this is something that you've been through quite a lot, and I'm sure it's not difficult. Just remember their purposes. بالنسبة إلي purposes are important, and using them in examples is also efficient. So let's move on to the exercise below. The exercise says complete each sentence below with the correct connecting word, and obviously it's being given to you in brackets. All you have to do is make a choice between one of the two options. So let's start off with number one. Number one, Haidar Ali.
Yes, ma'am. Number one, the Japanese language has only 5 vowel sounds, but the Swedish language has 16. So because
Excellent.
here it contradicts, we used but.
Excellent. نعم احنا قلنا الصوت تستخدم السبب والنتيجة، واحنا ما عندنا هاي الحالة، عندنا تناقض لأن باليابانية 5 بينما بالسويدية عندنا 16, so they are contradictory. Excellent. Haida, would you like to answer the second one as well?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Number two, children start to figure out the grammar of a language by the age of 2. For instance, an English-speaking child may understand that verbs are action words. For instance, because he's giving examples.
Excellent, Haidar. Yes, he is in fact giving an example because he's talking about how children figure out grammar, and he gives an example of action words as one type of grammatical structure that children are able to acquire at the age of 2. Excellent, Haidar, Mumtaz. Okay, let's listen to Ayad Jasim, number 3. Ayad Jasim.
Yes.
Okay, Ayat, perfect. Number 3.
Babies can hear the sounds of a language in the world. So they are prepared to learn my language.
They are prepared to learn any language. Excellent. Just a minute. Let's analyze this this sentence. Babies can hear the sounds of all languages in the world. Yes, you are correct, my dear. So they are prepared to learn any language. So it's a cause and effect. Because they are able to hear all languages, the result of that, they are prepared to learn any language. Excellent, Ayad. That was a perfect answer. Yusuf, the last one.
When babies were watching someone speaking a foreign language on TV, they seemed to be listened carefully. However, researchers found that there was no electric activity in their brains. So I choose however.
However, لأن عندنا we are contrasting صحيح? We are contrasting two ideas. يعني it's true that babies Yes, okay, we're back. I think someone accidentally presented for us. Mustafa, are you presenting for us?
I'm recording actually.
Okay, you're recording. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. Did you forget to record from the beginning?
No, I captured it. I'm just recording another part.
Okay, that's excellent. So let me just put that on again. Okay, perfect. So yes, excellent, Yusuf. You used however, and that was the required linking word in this situation, because we are contrasting two ideas that although babies watch foreign language on TV and they listen, there was no electrical activity in their brains. Excellent. So let's move on now to the final topic in the summary, and that's the reading skill. And basically, we are going to learn to distinguish between facts and opinions. I'm sure you remember this from last year because I quizzed you a lot about it. And I'm going to do the same next week, inshallah. Next week, you have a quiz. ما راح نبدأ فصل جديد وإنما we are going to have a quiz in this chapter. Okay, الكويز راح يكون من 3 marks, من 3 درجات, واللي تنزل مباشرة على السعي. Okay, يعني الكويز من 3 تنزل درجته رأسا على السعي, هي 3 مباشرة. So, يعني basically I want you to remember the difference between facts and opinions, and I want you to learn how to use this, connecting words in different sentences. Also, as usual, our quiz will be more on the practical side. فماكو داعي تحفظون وتدرخون تعاريف وكذا. Everything will be practical. Okay? يعني example. قاسم محمد.
نعم ست موجود.
Okay, Qasim, go ahead, read for us distinguishing facts from opinions.
بس عيد السؤال ما.
Okay, on page 38, Qasim, on page 38, we are going to learn a new reading skill, and that's basically how to distinguish between facts and opinions. فنريدك تقرأ لنا الباسج. Qasim.
Fact and opinions?
Yes, on page 38.
تمام.
Abdullah, you are very late.
I'm so sorry.
No worries.
So, distinguishing fact or from opinions. It's
Yes.
important. تمام. It's important to the distinctions between fact and opinion when you are reading. And opinion expresses a person's attitude about something. When people give an opinion, they often use words and phrases like this. An opinion, or I feel could. It's my opinion that might, should, I think, might, ought to.
Excellent, Qasim. Yeah. So basically, Qasim has read for us what is an opinion, and we have said that an opinion expresses a person's attitude about something. خلوا بالكم, opinions are something subjective. Okay, opinions are always subjective. Why? Because they present or they express the speaker's own attitudes towards something. عادة مو دائما مو شرط, لكن عادة ما الجمل اللي تبدأ in my opinion, I think, okay, maybe, I might, it should, or such modal verbs, عادة ما تكون an opinion. Okay, عادة ما these types of sentences are expressing an opinion. Okay, لكن this is هاي مو قاعدة, مو شرط. يعني إذا أنت ما لقيت المودل auxiliaries أو ما لقيت in my opinion or I think, يعني it doesn't mean that this sentence is not an opinion. لكن these may be clues, مجرد clues that this sentence expresses an opinion. Would you like to read the example for us, Qasim?
It depends on the meaning of the sentence or the context.
Excellent, Maithan. It depends mainly on meaning. Okay, أحيانا حتى الcontext ممكن not very helpful, لكن the meaning is essential. You have to understand the meaning, not the literal meaning. Okay, لأن أحيانا the literal meaning may be deceptive. لكن the basic meaning of the sentence. Thank you so much, Maithan, for that notice. So, Qasim, read the example for us, please. The example of an opinion. Mustafa Mushtaq, you are too late.
سوري أنا أحكي وما فاتح المايك طبعا.
No worries.
Example, we ought to be learning new languages between age 0 and 7.
Excellent. So we ought to be learning new languages between age 0 and 7. طبعا هاي مو حقيقة علميا وإنما this is an opinion, someone's opinion that it's good to learn a language between 0 and 7. Okay, thank you very much, Qasim.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect. So we're going to move on now to facts, and we'd like to listen to typical names. الزهراء ليث.
Yes.
Okay, الزهراء, could you read facts for us?
Okay.
What is a fact?
A fact expresses what can be proven to be true. Writers often use the simple present from verbs to state facts. This signals that the writer views the statements as a fact or general truth.
Excellent. So facts express something proven to be true. يعني هي علميا صحيح. It has been scientifically proven. Okay? Or يعني it is something that exists in reality and you can't change that fact. Okay? Like the fact that bees make honey. This is a fact and this is something undeniable. Okay? So writers often use شنو هو الدلالة على الفاكت؟ استخدام السيمبل present. فلاحظوا bees make honey. هنا الفعل make بالsimple present form. فعادة ما if you want to look or if you want to just check if this is a fact, look at the tense of the verb, the main verb, and if it's in the simple present form, then you are most likely dealing with a fact. Most likely, not always, but most likely. But again, this is just a hint. It doesn't always have to be true. At times, facts don't usually have to be in the simple present tense. So let's read the example. Go ahead, read the example, my dear.
Example, if a child regularly hears two languages, her brain forms a different pathway for each language.
Okay. So you see, this is a fact. This is a fact because this has been studied. Research has been conducted. Okay, and they found out that brain forms a different pathway for each language. أكيد صار عندهم دراسات هنا على البايلينجوالز ويعني بين هذا الشيء من خلال أجهزة علمية طبية كذا توضح هذا الشيء. So this is a fact. And also if you notice the main verbs hears and forms are in the present simple form. Okay, thank you very much. We are now going to move on to the exercise below, which states, are these sentences facts or opinions? Underline the words that help you to know. فاللي أريده منكم مو فقط تقولوا لي هاي الجملة fact or opinion، تحددوا لي يعني الهint which allows you to select or allows you to say this is a fact or an opinion. Let's start off with the typical names. Mustafa, go ahead. Number one. Mustafa.
Insights about what is happening in the brains of babies might help kids with learning disabilities. That's a fact, and the reason for it is the word insights. It basically means real information.
أولا مصطفى insight هو مو فعل. أوكي؟ ودلالة على ذلك إنه هذا ينجمع insight مفرد insights جمع وإحنا الأفعال ما تنجمع. This is number one. ثانيا this is not a fact, this is an opinion. Okay.
أنا قلبت
Why؟ لأن الهنت إحنا عندنا كلمة might وإحنا إيش قلنا المودل auxiliary verbs can, could, may, might, ought, should هذني دلالة على opinions. Okay.
Yeah, أنا قلبت. I'm so sorry.
That was wrong. You don't need to apologize. We're all learning here. So again, let's go back and read it again for us, Mustafa.
Insights about what is happening in the brains of babies might help kids with learning disabilities.
Okay, but this is an opinion. ولاحظوا انتوا اولا عندنا كلمة might okay اللي هي model auxiliary verb وايضا تلاحظون الفعل happening is in the the present continuous form. Thank you, Mustafa. Okay, we'll move on to number two. Number two, let's pick Asma Muhammad.
Yes, miss.
Yes, Asma.
Yeah. Number two, such studies show that up to about 6 months of age, babies can recognize all the sounds that make up all the language in the world. Facts.
This is a fact. How did you know this is a fact?
Because the word studies دراسات إنه دائما تجي ويا المعلومات الفاكتس.
أولاً هو صحيح هاي العبارة دالة إنه مبين أكو دراسات تم أجرها على هذا الموضوع واكتشفوها من خلال دراسة علمية. That's number one. بعد غير الكلمة studies إحنا شنو قلنا من الأمور اللي تميزنا الفاكتس يا زمن؟
The present form are verbs.
The present form of the verb. And where is that? عندنا recognize هذا verb one verb. عندنا make up هذا شو نسميه هذا الverb make up؟ شو نسمي هذا الفعل محمد رائد؟
Phrasal verb.
Phrasal verbs. Excellent محمد. Yes, this is a phrasal verb. إذا تتذكرون أخذنا هذا موضوع ال phrasal verbs. فإذا عندنا ال two verbs recognize and make up are considered as verbs in the simple present form. And yes, true, this is a fact. Number three, Jannat.
Yes, miss. For teenagers and adults who want to learn new language, baby studies may offer some useful tips. It is opinion because the word here may.
Excellent. Excellent, Jannat. The word may or the model auxiliary may is a hint that this is an opinion. Also, the meaning itself, okay, the meaning of the sentence states that this is something a person themselves is subjectively thinking about. So this may not have been proven scientifically. Thank you very much, Jannat. Let's see. Haider, if you're still with us.
Yes, ma'am. Number 4.
Number 4. And Abdullah Jassim, number 5. Yes.
Researchers have found that it is far better for a language learner to talk with people who speak the language than to rely on educational CDs and DVDs with recorded conversations. It's a fact because, first of all, it could be proved by research, and the researchers have proved that.
Excellent.
Yeah, we use the simple present form in the sentence.
ممكن تحدد لنا الأفعال اللي بيها simple form؟
Yeah. To talk with it is better to talk with people who speak the language than to rely on, etc.
Okay, talk عندنا found. Excellent. Yes, these are actually words or verbs that are in the present simple form and which indicate this is most probably a fact. In addition to the word researchers, which means that This has been researched scientifically. Thank you very much. Abdullah, number 5. Abdullah Jasim. Ali Abbas. You have your mic on, Ali. Would you like to answer the last one for us? Sajjad Haidar. Saif.
Yes, miss.
Okay, Saif Ali. Would you like to read the last one and identify whether it's a fact or an opinion?
Yes, miss. When infants watched someone speaking foreign language on a TV call, found they had a completely different experience than they did if they watched the same speaker in real life.
Fact or opinion?
Just a minute.
Okay.
I think it is opinion.
You think this is an opinion?
Yes.
Okay, يعني أكو فد شيء خلاك تعتقد هذا opinion يعني معنى
It is for cool opinion, not in fact.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think this is an opinion. Why? Because first of all, Saif, let's look at the meaning of the sentence. And that's basically a scientist or a researcher named Kuhul who has been studying children, and he found this out. So obviously he did this from experience. That's number 1. ثانيا ما عندنا أي من المودel auxiliary verbs ولا عندنا أي من عبارات I think or in my opinion. Hi, number 2. Number 3, if you were to look at the some of the main verbs in the sentence, they are not in the present simple. So this is not a fact. Sorry, I mean this doesn't have to be an opinion, but it's definitely a fact. It's definitely a fact.
If I may add, Professor.
Sorry, would you repeat what you said?
If I may add something.
Okay, is this Mustafa?
Yes, that's me.
Okay, because I haven't got that open. Yes, go ahead, Mustafa.
The beginning of the sentence, when infants watched someone speaking, it refers to that something actually happened and a result of it was made by a scientist afterwards. So it should be considered as a fact.
Excellent. Exactly. As we said, Kuhul was doing a certain study on children, and this is something that happened in reality. This is a factual thing that we can't change. So yes, basically that's it. لكن الأفعال are a little bit distracting because most of them are in the past tense. We have watched, experienced, watched mainly, which is in the past tense, and it's not in the simple. So that may be deceptive, but generally, if we look at the meaning, as Mustafa said, it would be considered as a fact that has been, a fact that has happened. It doesn't have to be proven scientifically, but it has happened in reality, and it's something we can't change. So yes, that is a fact. And then, موضوع الfact والopinion, it's very amusing. يعني really, you just have to read the sentence, comprehend it, understand it, and then decide if it's a fact or opinion. أحيانا أكو علامات دالة مثل ما قلنا، لكن this is not always the case. يعني لا تعتبروها شرط أو قاعدة. إحنا ما قلنا this is a rule, لكن it's just a hint that this may be a fact or opinion. So thank you to all the students who have participated with us today. Thank you for all those who have helped us out. Next week, inshallah, we will not be starting a new chapter. In fact, we will be having a quiz mainly with regards to this chapter, and particularly the topic of facts and opinions and connecting words. Again, I repeat, the questions will be practical in nature. So you'll have examples and you will be asked to fill in the blanks with multiple choices, or you will be asked to identify whether the sentences are facts or opinions. This brings us to the end of today's lecture. Thank you for all those who have attended. طبعا رابط الحضور نسيته مفتوح، بقى مفتوح إلى آخر المحاضرة، فالآن غلقته. Just in case you have anything else to say or anything to add, and if not, then we can end the lecture.
Thank you, Miss.
Question, maybe?
Question by Matham. Go ahead, Matham.
That example of the fact, if a child regularly hears two languages, her brain, the pronoun, the here, is that a child like considered a female or male?
Good question. Good question, Matham. طبعا this topic is very long. طبعا أكيد هنا it doesn't mean that the child or the infant is a girl, but it depends on طبعا the author himself. أكو authors, they usually use he to refer to both males and females. يعني بشكل عام when we're talking about words that may refer to both genders. Some authors يعني they prefer to use the female pronoun her, okay, as in the example you have just done, and
it's not like a rule that it's depend on the author.
بالضبط. It's not a rule. It's not a rule. لأن حتى يعني in most recent studies about sexist language and exactly sexist language يعني يتهمون why everything is he and why do authors يعني use the pronoun he to refer to both males and females. فأصبح عندنا الآن يعني some authors and some writers who يعني use her instead of he or him. And it's not يعني it doesn't have to do with meaning, and it doesn't mean that the baby is a girl in particular. It could be of both sex. Yes.
That I know. Infinites that when they begin or created like the gender, it will be a female or so in their start of their life. So maybe that's the reason.
Could you repeat the reason?
Maybe in babies or infants when they before in يعني في الولادة يعني مراحل الولادة إنه بدايته تكون يعني female maybe
this could
يعني
be scientifically this could be true. In your opinion this may be true. لكن يعني I think that infants here, it doesn't mean that unborn children. An infant is a child يعني even one that has been born and in the world. So as I was saying يعني this could be يعني this is your opinion, Matham, and I respect it. This could be the يعني answer to why the author used her. But يعني قلت لك in my opinion يعني I've come across this a lot. There are those who prefer using her. أكو اللي يسوون his her يعني شايفين his/her. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. In such cases يعني they use both pronouns. لكن أكو بعض authors who prefer using the male pronoun وأكو who prefer using the female pronoun to refer to both. يعني this is mainly when we have gender neutral terms. Okay, مثل babies. Okay, students.
Yes.
Could be both female and male. باللغة العربية إن شاء الله أنتم بالمرحلة الثالثة راح تدرسون contrastive grammar. راح تشوفون الفرق بين اللغة العربية وبين اللغة الانكليزية with regards to gender and how English language basically only has just the two genders with the neutral, and Arabic on the other hand doesn't. You will learn this inshallah later on. So keep this question for later on stages, Nathan.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your question. It was wonderful.
Professor?
Yes, Dan?
In addition to what Nathan said, so as an academics, when like we want to write a paper or like, for example, in the video contest you made, so when we're trying to talk about someone like and not mention their gender, isn't it more like true or accurate to use they because it works as a singular too?
To use what? A?
They, because it works as a
Excellent.
singular too.
Yes, excellent. That is the best option, I think. يعني to use they or them instead of using a certain pronoun. Okay? This, يعني I say, I repeat again that it's something up to the writer himself. وعادة ما this expresses the writer's ideology طبعا. If this is a feminist, if this is a sexist person, if this is مثلا a racist person, it would usually be expressed وعادة ما تندرس من خلال هاي الأمور. يعني ليش يستخدم هنا مثلا دائما المale pronoun? This could be a reflection of his ideology يعني تفكيره. So the best way and to go neutral is to use they. Excellent done. Or them.
Some people actually use one. For instance, one brain is to develop or
One's, excellent. Yep, one's. Instead of saying his or her brain, we use one's. طبعا you will also learn this من تكتبون بحوث طبعا. When writing a research, we usually stay clear from using يعني gender pronouns and even referring to yourself, I or my research or his or her. We usually use gender neutral terms or يعني مثل ما قال مصطفى one in one's opinion, okay, not in my opinion. So we kind of steer away from subjectivity. هذا كله يعني ابتعاد عن subjectivity and more to the objective side of language. Thank you very much. Thank you all to the wonderful notes, and thank you, Nathan, for raising such a good question. If anyone else has any questions, any inquiries, anything to add in particular?
One last question. Is the quiz next week gonna have additional or extra grades if it was answered quicker?
ها طبعا أكيد الكويز راح يكون from 3 marks. Each one of you will get 3 questions. Actually, no, 6. Sorry, 6 questions. 6 questions, 3 marks. سرعة الإجابة وسلامة الإجابة راح تؤخذ بنظر الاعتبار، وسرعة الدخول للامتحان أيضا تؤخذ بنظر الاعتبار. الامتحان راح يبقى الكويز راح يبقى مفتوح only 15 minutes and you will only have 5 minutes to answer. Why? Because يعني the questions are really simple and it's not a matter of looking in your books. ما يحتاج تدورون كتب وتبحثون لأن قلت لكم هو more on the practical side. And inshallah الماركس would be added مباشرة على السعي. So يعني it's a big deal. Read well and we'll see you all inshallah next week on Thursday at exactly 8:30.
Thank you,
Okay?
Professor. Have a good
You're
day.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you all for your attendance and goodbye. By the way, Mustafa, if you